Welcome back, and today we're going to be looking at extruding in Inventor. And this part here you can see has a couple of holes on it, and I'll talk about how I usually deal with something of this nature, and I'll show you the two options of it. So let's go ahead and get started. Once you open up Inventor, let's go ahead and make sure that we select a millimeter template. So I'm going to select New. And when I do that, it should open up a dialog box. It'll let me select. Right now it's under US English. I'll expand this, click on metric, and I want to create a part file. So I'm going to look for a standard millimeter IPT. I'll double click this icon and I'll wait for I'll wait for Inventor to load. While Inventor is loading, I like to take a look at my part, and so I can create it the exact same shape since I'm going to use this as a reference. If you know anything about isometric drawings, that this is the front view, this is going to be my right side view, and of course you're looking at it at the top view. So depending on how I create this part, I'm going to keep it in this exact orientation. Okay, so I'm going to start my drawing, and I'm going to click this icon here just to start a 2D sketch. Now what I was referring to is which plane that I'm going to create this on. You can see on my view cube here that this is the front plane. So I'm going to create this shape on that front plane and make sure that that's prominent. And the reason I'm going to start there is because that's one side or one view that I can draw my details on. So I'm going to select XY plane. The next thing I like to do is make sure that the word front is in the right orientation. And then I'll start constructing my part. You can be accurate with these, or sometimes you just can fill them in, and in this case it's going to be one of those times where I'm just going to draw things first and then I'll come back later and put the dimensions on. So I'm going to start with a circle, center point. I'm going to click here and I'm going to make that circle this big. Next I'm going to create a line, and I'm just going to make sure I pass through it. I'll come this direction. Make sure that you keep that line horizontal. I'll come up this way, then I'll come back this way. Escape out of this command. Then I'll go to the trim, and I'll start trimming off these parts of the circles and these two parts of the line. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to start putting some dimensions on these. So I'll go to dimension, select my circle, and you can see from the drawing that that has a radius of 20. So I'm going to type in the distance of 20. You can see that everything kind of scaled accordingly, which is very good in this case. Next, I'm going to put a dimension from this center to this edge. That distance will be 80. The height is here, from here to here. It's going to be 15. Now I have to be able to tell Inventor some way that I want to keep these two lines symmetrical about this center point. One way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a horizontal constraint. I'm going to come to this line until I find the green dot, which represents the midpoint. I'll click on that green dot, and then I'll click on my center. You'll see that both of those now will snap and be in line with each other. I'll do that again just for my center point to keep them in line with the center point of the whole entire X, Y, and Z plane. So I'll go back to the horizontal. I'll select that center, and then I'll select that line. Now I only need one dimension, and that's basically the center of how I want to center this. Now I can use as a reference dimension from this point or this edge all the way over to the edge on this side. And the way that we can do that is, if we go to dimension, I have to select this line first, and then when I come to the edge of this, you're going to see that my icon was going to change as I get closer to that quadrant. Once you get that symbol changed, do a left click and then come up and place your dimension. Now of course it's going to say that that's over constraining it because we were fully constrained. In this case I will accept it. Now when I place my dimension, I'm going to do a dimension from this line to this center. I'll place that dimension, And then I'll select my dimension here and divide that by 2 and hit enter. Now my object is happy and it's fully constrained. I'll go ahead and go to finish sketch. And I'm going to extrude this one, going 2 directions, and I want the overall dimension to be 50. Some of your other programs, you would have to divide that number in when you're using that, but in Inventor, you can just type in the number that you want it to be, and then tell it that you want to divide it amongst that plane, and you will see that it will do that. Go ahead and select OK. And now we have that first extrusion done. I'm going to rotate to the back of this so I can create my next part of this. So I'm going to use the view cube here. I'll select right, and then I'll select this arrow here, and now I'm looking at the back. I'm going to select this surface, and then I'm going to create a new plane on it, a new sketch on it by selecting this last icon. This is the exact same thing as selecting this face and selecting here. So I'll just use the shortcut here, select create a sketch, and now I'll work from here. I'll create a circle here at the top. And with this, now I'm going to start making things a little bit more accurate. I'm going to go to dimension, from this edge to this center, and I want that height to be 32. Next, I need to put in the radius. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the dimension, select my circle, and you can see right now it's giving me a diameter. Remember that you can right click on your mouse, you can switch the dimension type to radius, and now once I click and place my dimension, I can type in 20. Okay, so one of the other things I want to do is I want to bring in this edge because I want this circle to be right in line with that. So what I'm going to do is use the project geometry, select this edge, and since I'm doing this, I know that I see a blend that interferes or intersects with this edge. So I'll go ahead and select that as well. And since we're selecting them, I can select all of them, but I'll go ahead and make that face as well, or that edge. Then hit escape when you're done in that command, and you can see now that those edges are visible and I can use them in this sketch. Let's create a line from this endpoint going straight up. So make sure that that line is vertical. I'm going to use the tangent constraint, which is located here. Select your circle, select your line, and it should jump over. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a circle that's tangent to here, and that has a radius. We can do that just by using the regular circle command. If I had 3 tangencies, I can use this option here. So let's go ahead and use a regular circle center point, and I'm just going to place that circle somewhere in this area. Be careful not to be in line or have it kind of trying to attract to another point. So I'm just making sure that it's clear here. And it doesn't matter how big or small you draw that circle, so I'll make it about that big. Escape. Just like I did before with the tangent command, I'm going to select this circle and this circle. And then I'll select this circle with that circle. Now I can kind of rotate this up. I'm just grabbing the center of that and I'm pulling it out a little bit. And let's go ahead and put a dimension on it. Once again, it's giving me that diameter dimension. Do a right click, dimension type, radius. Go ahead and click your radius and then type in whatever it is, which is, in this case, is 27.29. Let's go ahead and use the trim function and clean up some of this. So let's go to trim. I'm going to trim off this line. I'll go ahead and trim off these portions that's going around this circle, and then the ones that are on the outside of this one. Okay, so now I have my shape created, the one that I want, which is going to be on the inside of here. To make things go a little bit smoother, I'm going to select this face, or this edge, hold down the control button, and select this edge. And now I'm going to make them construction. What that does is that it includes them as part of my sketch. But when I go to the next step of extruding this, it's not going to include that as part of the profile that I need to extrude. Let's go ahead and see what Inventor is going to do. It might make me come back and do a little something with this, but let's go ahead and give it a try. So go ahead and go to Finish Sketch. Then I'll go to Extrude, and you can see that it does pick that because that's the only closed face that it can find. If I would have had this included, then you can see that I had this closed face along with this closed face, and then you would have to physically select which face that you want to extrude. I'm just going to rotate this around a little bit just so I can see the direction that it's going. Next, I'm going to give it the orientation that I want it to do. So I want it to go this direction. And then I'm going to give it its length, which is going to be 15. The last option here at the bottom, and it should be selected for you by default, I want both of these parts to be unioned together, so therefore it's joined underneath the Boolean operation. Go ahead and select OK. And now if I rotate around, you can see that I do have this shape created. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my chamfer, which is located here. I'll choose chamfer. Now this is not one that's going to be the same on both sides. So I'm going to have to choose the to distance chamfer. I'm going to give my first one a distance of 50. And I'm going to give my second one a distance of 25. And next it's going to look for what edge that I'm going to select. I'm going to select this edge here. And now you can see that it does finish that out. If that wasn't going the correct direction that you want, you can also use the flip handle here and you will see that it will flip it. So this is one way that you can toggle between, just in case you didn't put these numbers in the correct orientation. Go ahead and select OK. Let's rotate back to the back side and then we'll discuss the hole command. So I'll select the right and then come to the back. Now what I typically will do with the holes is that if they're two of the same kind, I'll go ahead and make a sketch and then I'll let the hole command combine them into one. But if it's one single one, every now and then I'll go ahead and draw a circle and extrude it through. But the proper way of doing this is always to add a hole because you can get a little bit more benefits out of it. So I'm going to select this back face and notice that I'm on back. And then I'm going to create a sketch. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in two curves. So I'm going to use project geometry. I'm going to select this top arc. And then my arc that's going around here. Then select escape. Finally, I'm going to add the points that's going to represent the center points of my circle. So select the word point, select that center, and then that center. Finish sketch. Now I can use the hole command. The hole command has already found my two circles. I'm going to rotate this around and give it an isometric look. So I'm just going to rotate around to the front. Then I'm just going to pick this corner here and that'll give it the isometric look that I'm looking for. These holes are going all the way through, so therefore there is no other dimensions needed other than the diameter of that circle. Now I want you to notice that this diameter is in inches. I'm going to type in the diameter, which is going to be 20. And now it should click them in by millimeter if you want to check. You can always put the mm behind it. Nothing changed, so it is reading in millimeters. Go ahead and select OK. And now you've completed this part. Make sure you save it, because the next step we're going to do is start putting dimensions on it. I want to thank you for watching this one, and we'll be in the next video where we'll add dimensions on the end of this one. Thank you.